Welcome to Contact. We're starting a new series today titled Stormproof. Now today's message we're going to be talking about get in on the act. So, you know, Stormproof, this is a pretty powerful series.
We're going to stormproof our lives.
Okay.
And we're going to start by recognizing that what Jesus is talking about is that we need to start acting on the word. So it's get in on the act. We're going to start acting right from the beginning.
Right. So we know that there might be storms coming. You know, when you watch the Weather Channel, the guys standing out there and the signs are blowing sideways, and you see people tacking up the plywood on the windows.
And those are natural storms.
Yeah. But we're going to be talking,
spiritual storms.
Spiritual storms come too. So stick with us. We're going to be right back.
Camp Meeting 2018 Stormproof was truly a powerful and anointed event. Relive the messages, equip yourself in the Word, and experience the conference again and again with our special Camp Meeting 2018 product package. Available in CD, DVD, or USB flash drive, you can watch or listen to your favorite messages whenever you want. Order today and choose from a variety of Camp Meeting 2018 products. Our CD package is available for $35, DVD package $50. Our CD-DVD combo package is available for only $75. Stormproof flash drives with all video and audio recordings are available for $50. And don't forget, you can purchase our special Stormproof t-shirt for only $10 while supplies last. Don't miss out on this great value. To order, call 1-866-FAITH-42 or visit our website at faithlandmarks.org. FLBI sets you on the right track to fulfilling the Lord's will for your life. On-site registrations for the new winter trimester begin November 11th. We look forward to helping you fulfill your destiny at Faith Landmarks Bible Institute.
FLM's Child Development Center is dedicated to the growth, development, safety, and well-being of your children. We encourage you to come check us out or visit our website at faithlandmarks.org/daycare for more information.
Welcome back. Just really glad that you're with us today. We're talking about a relevant lifestyle issue. The storms of life, the way it's described in the Bible, the storms of life come to everybody.
That's right.
Yeah, and so Jesus gives us a format here in Matthew chapter 7 on how to stormproof your life. He makes this statement, verse 24. He says, "Therefore, whosoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. The rain descended, the floods came, the winds blew, beat upon the house, and it fell not because it was founded on a rock." So that actually is a stormproof life. You hear the word and you do it. You hear his sayings and you do them, then you're building your house on the rock. So the storm is going to come, but it's not going to blow you away.
So we're talking about two different houses, but the same storm.
Right, yeah, and he goes on to talk about the other guy. He says, "But everyone that hears these sayings of mine and does them not shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. The rains descended, the floods came, the winds blew, and great was the fall of the house." It fell. So it was all about hearing the word and doing it.
Right. I think it's really interesting. You know, when I was studying this to get ready for the show, I saw that in verse 28 says, "And it came to pass when Jesus had ended these sayings, the people were astonished at his doctrine." Well, really, this is the end of what's known as the Sermon on the Mount.
Right.
And so
they were probably astonished at the whole thing.
He's not just, Jesus is not just referring to those two verses.
That's true.
He's referring to the whole discourse where he was talking to thousands of people who'd gathered to hear what Jesus had to say, his teachings. And everything he taught about loving your enemies, doing good,
about
doing unto
prayer,
others.
about giving.
Get all of that, the summation.
Yeah.
The summation of being wise. See, Jesus is the wise man.
Yeah.
So he's saying, I'd liken him to a wise man if he does what I say, what I've taught you. Because he said, I only say what I hear the Father say.
Yeah.
So we know that whatever Jesus tells us, advises us, is coming straight from the Father in heaven. So anyway, the bottom line, the summation of everything that he taught, all those people, his teachings that we're supposed to really live by, the wisdom of God, shows us how to protect our lives when storms come.
Right.
Right. So one man did the sayings of Jesus. His house remained after the storm. The other man didn't.
Right. So one of the things that happens when you do what Jesus is talking about, you hear the word and do it, it becomes a part of your life. Mm-hmm. So for instance, the case occurs that people have to deal with sickness and disease. And sickness and disease comes to everybody's house. Mm-hmm. But what you do with it determines the outcome. So if you have heard the word, and God's word are promises for us, mm-hmm. so we have great and precious promises where the Bible shows us very clearly that the power of sickness and disease was defeated by Jesus at Calvary. And so if we put that in our hearts, in our lives, if we hear it and do it, then it becomes a part of us. And literally the power that is given to us to drive away sickness and disease, mm-hmm. it actually becomes a part of our life. So that we're by faith receiving healing power, and it's driving away the power of sickness and disease.
Well, let's talk about the foundation.
Okay.
Because I think that's definitely a point that Jesus was trying to make about the difference between rock and sand.
Right.
So rock meaning is the word.
Yeah.
So what is it about rock that is so important when you're building a structure?
Yeah, well, it's something that can be depended upon, and it doesn't move with the circumstances. So we've had the privilege of being used of God to build several buildings, and you always start with the foundation. And you have to, the building, the size and strength of the building is all based upon the foundation. If you don't have a foundation, it would be very foolish to build a big building in a place where you cannot have a foundation.
So you're saying that this requires work? It requires diligence and investigation.
Yeah,
They call it a
exactly.
soil sample test,
Yeah.
where you test the quality of the soil to see if it has to be amended, how deep you have to go,
right.
In order to find solid
grounds. Yeah.
Right. So people that don't spend any time finding out what Jesus has to say in the Word of God are not doing a soil test.
Well, let's talk about that digging down too.
Right.
Because that's actually what happens to a person when they begin hearing the Word of God and doing it. Mm-hmm. It's almost like an excavation project. So to build this building that we're sitting in, one of the things that we had to do, because the soil had a tendency to move, is we had to dig this thing into the ground. It was a shaft deep into the ground, and rebar, steel, concrete, all these things, and it was nothing but just a shaft. Mm-hmm. It's like 70 or 80 feet deep.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
To keep the building from moving once it was erected, because there was enough strength in the soil to erect the walls, but that wouldn't keep the building from moving.
Right, and we were doing a contact studio just a few years ago, and we had an earthquake.
Right,
it was
right here.
Right here, we had to stop the shoot and leave the building, and people's desk drawers came out and their chairs moved across the floor.
Right.
And I don't know, it was like a 6 point something or 7.
Everything rattled.
It was all over, in our area of the state.
Yeah.
But so just think about it.
We had
an earthquake.
No damage.
No
not
damage.
Even a crack.
No cracks in the foundation. No cracks in.
Yeah.
So think about your personal life.
Yeah.
Just I'm astonished. we have this thing where we talk to people about reading their Bible every day, and I talk to great people who love the Lord, you know, and I'll say to them, "Are you reading your Bible? Have you been spending time well, not. I've been busy. I really haven't had a lot of time."
Yeah.
So, you know, they haven't been digging. They haven't been checking the soil.
Right.
They haven't been working on their foundation. So, it's not surprising that these same people, when they're trying to grab for something solid,
when the storm comes,
when something hits their life, they have nothing.
They're shattered.
They have no promise from God. They have no way to act. Wisdom about how to handle a situation.
Right.
It's so important.
Yeah. So the New Testament further back, the Apostle Paul talked about people that are pillars in the church. Like a pillar.
Doesn't move.
Doesn't move, and it's got enough strength in and of itself to provide strength for others. So this is actually what happens with the body of Christ, is that there are people that have done the work, and God is no respecter of persons, so it's not like he picks special people. You know, there are people.
Well, the information is available.
It's available to anybody.
That's right.
Right. So there are people that have done the work and have been diligent, like what you're talking about, with the Word to get the foundation built, and then they resultingly become what holds everybody else steady when the storm comes.
So I'm just thinking.
That's why they're called pillars.
I'm just thinking about the whole building code process.
Right.
Let's talk about the building code, because a lot of people think that
Jesus talked about that.
Things that God says are unfair.
Yeah.
That what he says are strict and are maybe not even relevant today.
They chafe at the things.
At responsibility.
Right.
You know, because we've all been given responsibility.
Yeah.
And the building code has already been written.
Yeah.
And so when it came to us meeting the building code, you know, they were charged with the responsibility to make sure we had done due diligence, that we weren't going to build a structure that would fall on people's heads, that would become an eyesore, you know, any of those things. And so we had to meet very strict guidelines.
Right. And
so
did we
say they're not being
fair?
fair? This is not fair. Why do we have to spend $500,000 on the foundation?
Well, you know what we did? We actually went over what they required for that very reason. Because if that's the bare minimum, let's go over it.
So, you know, just practically for people who like to argue and say, you know, God's not fair, the Bible isn't fair, you know, he's old-fashioned, you know, or this, whatever. I mean, you know, God is very practical. Jesus loved to give everyday examples about the Word of God and life to show that he cared about our everyday life.
Because he knows what it's like in the storm. See, and so he knows what will withstand the pressure and what won't.
Right.
So when it sounds severe, really what that is that's a fine point that people will have a tendency to want to pass over. But when the trouble comes,
shortcuts.
That's the thing. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. When the trouble comes, that's the thing that's going to hold you steady. You're going to really appreciate it. It's like having your electricity on in the storm. You know, everybody else loses electricity, but you got power.
Okay, so you said something that I think is very important to point out, that God knows, you know, what we need to have. He knows what the storm is like. So, but he didn't send the storm.
No, he didn't. No.
But the insurance companies say acts of God.
Yeah.
That all storms are acts of God.
Yeah, and believe it or not, that's based upon church interpretation.
Isn't it funny though, because
from what we call the Dark Ages.
If you watch the Weather Channel, you know, they just talk about hot air and cold air and, you know, jet streams and, you know, and it's all a science.
Right.
You know, it's how, you know, climates interact and airstreams interact. And isn't it interesting?
The weather has been tampered with. See, when God originally created the earth, it didn't have these problems. And all of this is a result of Adam's sin, the prince of the power of the air, that, you know, the devil. And so there is this skewing that has occurred in the natural world, all because of what Adam did.
Not because of what God
No,
did.
no. And so God gets blamed for what Adam did. But when God created the world, everything was good. Everything worked correctly. But these are actually, a storm. I know it's devastating, but it's minor compared to a total physiological collapse.
Right.
Or a melting down of the elements and that type of thing. So a storm is minor, actually.
But so, a person that deals with circumstances, one thing after the other, they can get pretty discouraged and feel like everything's against them.
Jaded is a word that
But perspective is very important. If your perspective.
Well, when a person is in constant storms and they don't know there is an answer, then there is going to be a very strong temptation to get negative and try to blame it somewhere.
Or overreact.
Yeah, exactly. But when you start hearing the promises, though it may seem far-fetched to some people, they all have the power to deliver. Now, one of the things that we found out very early is that there is a benefit to starting your house early, your spiritual house, which is essentially what we did. We were young. Our lives had not progressed in other areas very much when we got saved, and then we got married, and we were called into the ministry together. Okay, when all of this started happening, I mean, I didn't have a lot of things that had to be undone, and neither did you. You a little bit more than me, but I didn't have much of a track record of anything actually but failure. So when we started building our spiritual house, we didn't have a whole lot of stuff to get rid of. But another parable that Jesus told, the parable of the sower, he talked about there's different kinds of ground. The seed is sown. He said the seed is the Word of God, and then there's different kinds of ground. One of the ground is the heart where the Word grows.
Right.
One of the types of ground is stony ground. So farmers all know that if you're going to get a crop out of that field, you're going to have to get the stones out. So it's back to the work again. So we put in the effort when we were young. I specifically remember myself that there were things that I had to make a personal adjustment to, and I realized, the reason why I'm having a hard time believing that promise right there is because of this stone in my thinking.
Right.
It's the way I was
Your
raised.
hard head.
It were these traditions, and so forth, and so it's work. To get a big stone out of the field.
Well, that's one of the biggest obstacles is tearing down strongholds. And strongholds are usually in your mind.
In your thinking.
Either the way you've been trained, taught, your background, your family beliefs,
right.
Your identity with a cultural group, that restricts you from the free flow of just God's view, which is totally different.
Now, there you have the world of today. It's groups of people with names and systems of belief that go along with the names.
So we come out into the open, into the freedom of the Word, where God is no respecter of persons, and that everyone receives, exactly what they believe for. It's really, the ball is in our court,
right.
And so we became daily Bible readers, so that
we have been for 40 years. 40 years.
42 years.
42 years to be exact, that's true. Yeah.
So, how can you know what's the wise thing to do? So many people are looking for advice.
Yeah.
They're looking for, answers to major questions.
Right.
When when it's all right here. So breaking down these mental strongholds requires a constant hearing. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the Word. So it's like constantly you have to feed on this Word until you break off doubt, you break off unbelief, you break off, your own stubborn ideas, and you begin to accept, okay, well, this situation is not going to happen overnight. This is going to require patience. Right. Just like the parable of the seed. You don't sow the seed in the next hour you get the fruit back. No. So people, you have a little bit better handle on reality when you realize, well, I'm going to have to be faithful.
I have to put myself into this.
I'm going to have to be patient. Yeah. I want to read John chapter 14 and verse 21, just as a confirmation. And these are letters in red. This means Jesus is saying this. He said, he that has my commandments, which is my sayings. Yeah. He said, he that hears my sayings and does them. Right. So Jesus says, he that has my commandments and keeps them. So doesn't that sound the same as doing them? Mm-hmm. He it is that loves me. Right. So there's another equation. There's another part of this whole picture. And he that loves me shall be loved of my Father, and I will love him and manifest myself to him. Yeah. So in other words, we're talking about a relationship here. We're talking about someone who knows what God's commandments are. Right. And keeps them. Right. And Jesus said, you're wise if you do that. Right. But then there's more benefit that the Father will love us because he sees us, wanting to operate in his kingdom, flow with his sayings, do what pleases him, and then he will manifest himself to us. Now, what do you think that means?
Well, his whole intent is to give us life. Right. So
and more abundantly.
Here's another thought. When you read what we call the Sermon on the Mount, it's in various topics. Right. So Jesus chose these topics. So the topics to some people seem irrelevant to their life. Mm-hmm. But without those things in place, your life won't stand against the storm. So for instance, I started talking about sickness and disease because that's one of the storms that come. Mm-hmm. Okay, but if you don't have these other things as a foundation, you're not going to be able to even relate to the word concerning healing. It's going to seem foreign to you. Mm-hmm. So one of the things, biggest things, they're all big, but Jesus talked about money, he talked about prayer. Okay, so a Christian that doesn't have a prayer life.
He talked about worry.
Yeah. Well, that was in reference to money. Well, instead of worrying, you believe God.
You trust.
Yeah, so exactly. So one of the biggest sections of the entire thing is about money. Mm-hmm. And money preoccupies people's lives. So finances, sickness and disease, all of these things are what results in a storm. This is what a storm is. But just, putting good siding on the house is not going to stop the storm.
Well, and it's not going to keep your house from washing away.
No, that's not the foundation.
No.
Yeah. So that's the point. People want the window dressing. They want the effect. Right. Without paying the price for the foundation. Mm-hmm. And you have to trust him. You have to trust Jesus that he knows more about it than you do.
Yeah, you've got to put time in, as they say.
So when he starts talking about prayer, there's a reason why he said all of that. Mm-hmm. It's all part of the same thing. And then he concludes it with, if you want a storm-proof house, if you want a life that stands against the elements, then you have to hear these things and do them.
Right. So he talks about going to court, being sued. Yeah. He talks,
enemies, everything.
How to give, how to pray, like you said, what to pray.
He talks about family life.
All that's in the Sermon on the Mount. And he talks about the blessings, all that too. So this has just really been amazing. We're just getting started. We've got a little bit more to share with you for this program. So please stick with us. We'll be right back.
The Bible is our greatest resource. It holds the key to our victory, our peace, our prosperity, and our salvation. But not everything within the Word of God is easily understood and oftentimes can be misinterpreted. Maybe you desire ministerial training or are looking for a deeper knowledge and stronger foundation of the Bible. Faith Landmarks Bible Institute offers you that strong foundation. With over 30 classes, up to 3 years of courses, and a dedicated group of teachers, FLBI sets you on the right track to fulfilling the Lord's will for your life. You can take classes on site, online, or on the go via our correspondence courses. On-site registrations for the new winter trimester begin November 11th. Classes begin December 9th. Enrollment for online classes and correspondence courses are available year-round. For more information and to sign up, simply visit www.flbi.org or call our office at 804-262-7104. We look forward to helping you fulfill your destiny here at Faith Landmarks Bible Institute. Camp Meeting 2018 Stormproof was truly a powerful and anointed event. Relive the messages, equip yourself in the Word, and experience the conference again and again with our special Camp Meeting 2018 product package. Available in CD, DVD, or USB flash drive, you can watch or listen to your favorite messages whenever you want. Order today and choose from a variety of Camp Meeting 2018 products. Our CD package is available for $35, DVD package $50. Our CD-DVD combo package is available for only $75. Stormproof flash drives with all video and audio recordings are available for $50. And don't forget, you can purchase our special Stormproof t-shirt for only $10 while supplies last. Don't miss out on this great value. To order, call 1-866-FAITH-42 or visit our website at faithlandmarks.org.
FLM's Child Development Center is dedicated to the growth, development, safety, and well-being of your children. We encourage you to come check us out or visit our website at faithlandmarks.org/daycare for more information.
Welcome back. Just really glad that you've been with us today. Just a little footnote, this is the beginning of a series, what you heard today, if you got to receive the entire message. If you didn't, you can go on our website contact.tv, and you can get the rest of this one. You might have missed some. You can get the whole series, and that's what we recommend, is that you take these things as they're, it's like gulping it down. You know, just take
right.
The whole thing.
I think it's also very prophetic. You know, there seems to be a lot more storms in the natural, and not trying to cast any fear, but just saying, you're really wise if you're ready. Yeah. Jesus said, "Be ready," and so the best way to be ready is to stormproof your life. So that's what we're going to be talking about. We look forward to seeing you next time on Contact.